In our discussions as we were preparing for the panel, I discovered that everybody here has refreshed or added software or equipment. Ron and Tim, I know, have some very different thoughts on equipment. So I thought it would be interesting for you guys to hear from the panelists about, considerations that they have when selecting their equipment and what factors were key.
Last year we added 4 new inserters. Our old fleet was about 20 years old. We got rid of that and replaced it with 4 new Bell & Howell Forerunners. We're working through that right now. One of the things that we like is we're going to be able to get a lot of data off those machines, because with the older machines you could only print out reports. On the new machines you can do a data dump and collect that information and then harvest whatever you want out of it. So we're working on that right now. This year, we need to replace our cut sheet platform. Right now, we have a huge amount of capacity because our volumes are dropping. So by next July, when we have to have new equipment in, you're probably going to see quite a different floor from what we have right now. There'll be less equipment. We also run a continuous 4100s, and the majority of the work at this point has gone to the 4100s. Most of our work that we do, I should tell you, is transactional. We're doing all the transactional work for the state of Wisconsin, and a good portion of check printing. So we have microprinters also.
I mentioned earlier, we completely refreshed our entire print shop on all of our equipment, but we started with our presses, our digital presses. Knowing that was my biggest expense, we leased them. We went out and leased, and we started going down that road of what other equipment can I lease to get it in to prove to corporate that I needed it. And once we got those leases in, it seemed like other dollars freed up pretty quickly because our cash flow was still intact and we weren't just paying cash for everything. And then we kind of come full circle with some of the other questions. We added our web to print solution through RSA Web CRD, and we have completely upgraded how we receive work. So we've done everything: digital presses, new cutter, laminator, folders, you name it. We've added it and refreshed it. I mean, we had a 1969 Chandler cutter that was scared to death to even look at, for fear I was going to lose a limb. And the guys using it were like, "Whoa, it doesn't cut straight. You have to do that." I'm like, forget it. So it wasn't even OSHA regulated at that point. So some of it was safety, some of it was we just needed new stuff.
Well, I had mentioned the first thing I did is I felt it was very important to produce digital work in today's environment, and that's when we made the decision to buy the Indigo. The thing I noticed immediately is that we were now taking on better jobs and higher dollar value jobs. So those were no longer going out of the shop. And that was saving the credit union a lot of money. And as you know, especially when you look at your mail, banks are famous for their disclosure notices and all the little inserts you get in your check statement if you get those check statements in the mail. So we actually print in very high volume. The second thing we did is we made the decision to upgrade our Omnia DOS, which was at least 15 years old and practically out of obsolescence. And so we found a 4-color PM52, which is a 4-color perfector, and we've seen the volume on that at least triple the volume we were running before. The Omni had been in the shop when I came on board, and we found that volume was easily increased with the perfecting. And so it is still important to look at your workflow and where it's going, but you don't want to just maybe go all digital because you might have a need for the higher volumes. And that's easy work to bring in shop.
And you're 50/50 digital, 50/50 offset?
Yeah, it's pretty much an even distribution between the two. And we keep both of them running approximately 11 hours a day.